On the south coast of Ireland, just a few miles from Cork City, lies a small town with a very big story. It was Titanic's last port of call. The profile of the town was raised in August of 1849 with the visit of Queen Victoria, who conceded to a request to rename the town Queenstown. Today it's known simply as Cobh. Despite their familiarity with great new ships and adventurous voyages, the residents of Cobh were waiting with increased expectation for the arrival of the Titanic. But it wasn't just about arrivals, there were departures too. Like most Irish emigrants leaving Cobh that day, Margaret and her children would have attended the early 7 o'clock Mass. And like thousands before them, this family from Athlone and Spokane gathered here in St. Colman's Cathedral in Cobh to pray for a better journey and a renewed life in America. Despite the early hour, there were many people around the town that morning. Among them, the 123 passengers who were to board Titanic. Stall holders would be setting up from beverage huts like this to sell tea and snacks to those who were leaving. The postmaster and his staff were over here preparing the mail bags that would be taken on board the ship with the passengers as they left to go on board Titanic. Margaret was in mourning following the recent loss of her husband in a railroad accident in America. She had used compensation money to come back to Ireland and grieve with family and friends before going back to renew their life in the US. Margaret and her family would have been among 113 steerage passengers who came to the White Star Line office, this building here, to await embarkation by ferry to the Titanic. Later, they would have lined up down this very laneway to have their tickets processed before making their way to the dock and boarding the tenders. A wave of expectation surfaced among the emigrants as first and second class passengers and an entourage of dignitaries finally boarded the tender ship PS Ireland. The steerage passengers made their way out across this stout wooden dock here to embark the tenders, and finally Margaret and her family made the short voyage to the rendezvous point to meet with the Titanic on schedule at 12 noon. But the dreamt of life in the New World was never to be. The entire family went down with the Titanic. The loss of Margaret and her 5 children represented the biggest Irish family tragedy aboard the ship. The people of Queenstown mourned the loss of those who died on RMS Titanic, conscious of the fact that they had been here just 3.5 days before in Titanic's last port of call. Today, Queenstown is known as Cobh, and its streets, piers and buildings all remain exactly as they were 100 years ago when Titanic called here.